Mike's Daily Podcast.
Look at this. It is Good Friday, and I am doing a podcast. Episode 1833. It's
Mike's Daily Podcast.
A podcast where I, Mike Matthews, talk about stuff that you didn't know you were thinking of, and then I thought about it for you, and then you fell in love with that guy or that girl or that thing inside your being. You're self-conscious that you didn't realize, and you are nonetheless happy that you listened to this podcast today. Thank you so much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And thank you to the inspiration that befell me that said, Mike, you need to do one today, because
Mike's
I was thinking maybe
Daily
I would do none this week.
Podcast.
And then suddenly I decided, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're worth it. Yes, I can rise above the ridiculousness of people in the workplace. I like my job. I just find some people, let's just say, they need to wrap themselves in drama, and I don't need it. And actually, one of such people left work early yesterday, and I felt like a massive weight lifted from me. So, Good Friday means a vacation day for us. And so I did not have to deal with that person, and I felt so much better. Yay. Sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need a little space, and we need to not see the people that irritate us. We might have the best job in the world, and there always ends up being someone that we just can't take anymore, that it's just enough. And that's what I discovered. Today, I took my dog, Basil the Boxer, who will bark for you momentarily, as he does for every show. We went to Danville, California, just over the hills from where I am. And we went to the town of Danville, walked around a little bit. It was hot. And there's a lot of people in Danville for some reason on Good Friday. Does everybody else have that day off? I don't think so.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Although the stock markets were not going on today. But what an enjoyable time we did. We didn't spend too much time in Danville, California. Although that seems to be the place now to go to sit outside. They got this is the thing. If you live in a place where there is so much beautiful weather all the time, and you are a restaurant, you need to have outdoor seating. We have that here at Cafe anyway. That's why we go outside towards the end of the show and enjoy the outdoors with Basil the Boxer, who enjoyed it. And he actually, it's funny because once upon a time, we would walk and walk and walk for days on days on days, on miles upon miles upon miles. And now he'll go a little bit and then stop and turn around and go right back to the car. And that's enough. I've had enough, he says, in that growling thing he just did. But we did stop by a place today I had never been before. It's called the Forest House Farm, I think it is, in San Ramon. So nice. I went there. I guess it's free, or it was free today. And I walked to a very nice lady, came up to me and said, hey, welcome. She didn't ask me to pay a ticket. Hey, you didn't pay the fee to walk around our grounds. She said, welcome. This is a very old farm. Actually, it dates back to 1899. And yes, I know probably where you live, there are buildings and places much older. But this is pretty old in that particular area, this type of colonial built house. And she was saying, feel free to walk around and check it out. They had a little tractor museum. Very impressive, actually. A huge barn filled with all these different types of tractors, old and new. Very interesting. And it stunk. I have to admit, it stunk of oil, dripping drip. And I guess that's going to happen when you got a bunch of tractors together. Hey, I wonder if John Deere, the engineer, speaking of which, is going to be on this show today. And then let's see, what else did they have? Sheep, a beautiful little garden, all kinds of poppies, orange, glowing, bright everywhere, the shiny sunshine. And Basil stayed in the car because we had walked already a little bit and he had enough. But very nice. I have to tell you that I am against anonymous comments. And this would have been an excellent time to get my lovely lady friend here to debate me on this, but because she is actually for anonymous comments. I find it cowardly. I say you put your name next to the statement you need to make. If you don't want to put your name next to the statement, maybe you shouldn't make the statement. It's a simple rule that we learned in radio. I mean, when you opened your mouth and the microphone was on, people heard it, and, well, it was attributed to you, to your name. But somewhere along the line, this stupid thing called the internet showed up, and these idiots that used to, oh my God, when the internet first popped up, or when email started to become a thing, one day, one of the, I worked at a country station, and in the 90s, in the early O's. And in the late 90s, there was a young kid that worked for us. And he said, Mike, I'm all internet savvy. And the company here has hired me to take on some of the internet duties. And, well, it turns out you have an email. We have this thing, matt@khay.com, and you've been getting emails. And you want to see them? And I said, sure. And I looked at the emails, and people just say the meanest things, and they'd like, well, I guess with an email, it can be, unless you're using some kind of fake account or blocked, I don't know, it can be attributed to you at some point. But the trolls and all that, I hate that. I think it's cowardly. You're not showing your true face. If you have something to say, put your name by it. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Let's see. But the argument for why you should be allowed to comment anonymously is, oh, well, what about the things that people say that aren't popular and they can get hurt for what they say, but yet it's something that at some point will become the norm. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Like, let's say we're living in the South and somebody said something about slavery, and it's back during the time there was slavery and that person was killed for what they believe. Yeah, okay. But this is the internet, folks. The definition of a coward was created with the internet. Here's what one person said about why they believe that anonymous comments should not be eliminated from the internet. I think it makes no difference. There are plenty of folks using their real names who post obnoxious comments, so I'm sure that eliminating anonymous comments would change nothing. That's so defeatist, That's not the point. Anonymity allows people to speak freely without fear and reprisal for speaking unpopular views. Okay, I get that. But still, no, I don't know. So you probably agree or disagree with me, whatever. A real name required policy would be virtually unenforceable. Many decent and honest people have good reason not to want to be personally identifiable by an anonymous public. All right? Then why the hell are you on the internet talking then? I don't get that. See, the internet has enabled people. Has made them feel enabled. Like, oh, I deserve the right to say something anonymously. No, you don't. If I have a company, let's say I have a website. Oh, I do have a website, MikesDailyPodcast.com. Which, by the way, you actually have to, I think, sign into something to make a comment on the webpage. It's through the WordPress thing. But, I guess you could call anonymously 336MM Daily. And I don't think I'm going to know your number. Oh, yeah, I am going to know your number. So much for that. So you can't be anonymous talking to me, I guess. Which you shouldn't be. There's no reason, like, I'm going to come at you with anything. I can't come at... I can't come at you because I'm lazy, first off. I'm not going to drive to the state of Wisconsin and knock on your door and go, hey, how dare you say that about me? I could care less. You are entitled to your opinion, so I don't get it. I've always been baffled, and it turns out my girlfriend is completely anti what I think, so this is fascinating to me. And we talk about it, and I would love if she would show up maybe in a future podcast and discuss this with me. Or you can discuss it with me, 336MM or you can email me, MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. Well, we're outside, it's a beautiful day, and things are blooming, and I think I got a little poison ivy on my leg, which I don't understand because I don't even walk my dog outside in the great wide open much anymore. But whatever, it still happens. This time of year, I get the wonderful poison ivy. Thank you for that. Hey, there are some people here at Cafe Anyway. Perhaps we should say hi to them at this time. Hello, Michael Matthew. It's Madame Rootabega, and I am Anonymous. Oh, you're Anonymous? Yes, Michael Matthew. Wait, I think you're confusing Oblivious and Anonymous with each other. Oh, that's what I am doing. Oh, that happens all the time. It doesn't actually happen all the time. I was making a joke. I was texting someone today. They wanted to use me as a reference. Can I use you as a reference, Mike? And I wrote back, I said, sure, and can you get me a job at Taco Bell too? And they wrote back, why Taco Bell? ? It's a joke. Good God. What happened to the sense of humor? Look, I've got a German background. I know us Germans don't have a sense of humor. We ain't funny people. We really aren't. It's just sad. Whenever I've tried to tell a joke to my mom, who's the uber German one, I threw a German word in there too, by the way. Uber German. She does not get anything, any joke whatsoever. But that's fine. She's a wonderful, lovely, charming human being. If you met her, you would explode into a ball of beautiful poppy petals. Because that's how she is. She's lovely. See, it's just, though, that everybody's got their own opinion. And everybody's got their own way of looking at things. And everyone is, oh, God. I guess that's pretty much the end of the show. Oh, we didn't say hi to these people. Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the party attendant. And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Mike, how did the show start off today? Yeah, the show. Do you know that? I think we discussed at the beginning, we were talking about that it's nice to get away from the negative people at your workplace once in a while. I think that's how we started off. But I don't think you guys are negative. Get the hell away from me. Just kidding. But, well, they did walk away from me just then. All right, that's fine. I'll make it up to them later. Hey, but next show, it's going to be some other people that I might say something that offends them, and you know how that goes.
But if you get offended, that's the way the cookie crumbles. No.
But we'll clear it all up in the end, I'm sure. That will be Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. The podcast picture today, by the way, that I completely bury the lead, is me. It's me. The show's about me, and it always has been. I wonder if I'll find that drop right now.
This show is about me, and it always has been.
But it's actually me in front of a bunch of blooms in the beautiful town of Pleasanton, and you can see that picture now at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Did I use this picture recently? I don't care. Anyway, check it out, MikesDailyPodcast.com, and the next show will be just wonderful. Hopefully, I'll be able to do more shows for you and get back into a daily podcast routine. But for now, I thank you for your patience and your time and your consideration, and that you have a wonderful, lovely Easter weekend.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!